I never thought the day would come when I'd look at my wife, Sarah, and question her loyalty. We had been married for 7 years, built a life together, shared countless moments, and weathered storms side by side. But sometimes, betrayal doesn't start with an act, it starts with a plan. It was a Thursday evening when Sarah casually mentioned she was going away for the weekend. "Just a small trip with old friends," she said, smiling as she packed her suitcase. Her tone was light, her movements natural. To anyone else, it would have seemed harmless. But something in her voice made my chest tighten. I tried to brush it off at first, convincing myself I was just overthinking. But then, her phone buzzed while she was in the shower. I normally never touched her phone, but the name that flashed on the screen stopped me cold. Ethan. Her ex. My hand shook as I unlocked the screen, my heart pounding louder than the water running in the bathroom. The messages told me everything. "Can't wait for this weekend. Just like old times." Her replies weren't filled with hesitation, they were filled with anticipation. She wasn't going on a harmless trip. She was planning to meet him. I felt the ground slip from under me. Anger, heartbreak, disbelief, it all collided at once. For a moment, I wanted to storm into the bathroom, confront her, demand answers. But then I stopped. I realized something: if I shouted, she'd deny it. If I accused her, she'd twist it. But if I stayed calm, if I used the truth itself as my weapon, she couldn't escape. The next morning, when she zipped up her suitcase and stood by the door, ready to leave, I spoke. "So," I said evenly, "are you excited to see Ethan again?" The words froze her in place. She turned slowly, her eyes wide. What do you mean?" I didn't shout. I didn't break. I just looked at her. "I saw the messages. I know who you're really meeting." Her lips parted, but no sound came out. The suitcase slipped from her grip, thudding against the floor. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Finally, she whispered, It wasn't what it looked like." I shook my head. "Sarah, don't insult me. You planned to meet him. You knew exactly what this was. You were ready to betray everything we've built." Tears welled in her eyes, but I stayed calm. My voice didn't rise. "I'm not going to beg you to stay. If you want Ethan, if you want to go back to the past, that's your choice. But understand this, if you walk out that door, don't expect me to be here when you return." Her tears spilled over, and she collapsed onto the couch. "I don't know why I agreed to it. I wasn't thinking," she whispered. But we both knew she had been thinking. She had chosen secrecy. She had chosen temptation. And now she had to face what it cost. I stood tall, my heart breaking but my voice steady. "Marriage isn't a game, Sarah. You don't get to test it whenever you're bored. You either value it completely, or you lose it." For the first time, the reality hit her. Her hands shook as she pushed the suitcase aside and buried her face in them. She didn't go on the trip. She never saw Ethan. And though she begged me for forgiveness, the truth was, things never went back to the way they were. Because what stopped her wasn't my anger. It wasn't a fight. It was my calm refusal to play her game. She realized I wasn't afraid to let go, and that terrified her more than anything. Sometimes, the strongest words aren't shouted in rage. Sometimes, they're spoken softly, but carry the power to end everything. And my calm words that morning didn't just stop her trip, they stopped her illusion that she could betray me and keep me waiting.